Hi, I'm George Woodbury from College of the Sequoias in Visalia, California, and in this video I'm going to go over how to solve quadratic equations by using the quadratic formula. Let's first talk about when to use and when not to use the quadratic formula. Now, the quadratic formula will work for any quadratic equation, but there are times when there are better methods, more efficient methods to use. For instance, if you have a quadratic expression that is easy to factor, you should solve by factoring rather than the quadratic formula. Let's say you have an equation that looks like this. Where we have a squared term along with one or more constants. This type of equation is easier solved by using extracting square roots, adding the 7, taking the square root of both sides, and so on. Finally, even if you have a quadratic equation where the expression does not factor, like x squared plus 6x minus 11 equals 0, you could still use completing the square to solve this equation, as the leading coefficient is 1 and conveniently the middle term is even. When not to use? Well, let's say you have an equation where you don't know how to factor the expression quickly, like 7x squared plus 3x minus 40 equals 0. That may or may not factor. It'll be quicker to go to the quadratic formula as a rule when the leading coefficient is not a 1. Also, if the middle term is odd, like x squared minus 3x minus 8 equals 0, and by middle term I mean the coefficient of that linear term, you'll have to use fractions or decimals to solve by completing the square. It's probably better to go right to the quadratic formula. Now, where does the quadratic formula come from? Well, if we start with an equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c represent any real numbers, and we solve this by completing the square, we end up with the following formula. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. This will give us the values of each solution. One will be negative b plus the square root divided by 2a, and one will be negative b minus the square root divided by 2a. It's a good idea to memorize this formula if you'll be using it. There are several videos online of people doing songs to help you memorize this formula. Let's go ahead and use it. I'm going to solve this equation. X squared plus 5x minus 36 equals 0. Here, the coefficient of the squared term is 1. Our value for b is 5, and our value for c is negative 36. So I'm going to copy down the formula here. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So that's going to be the opposite of 5 plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times our value of a, which is 1, times our value of c, which is negative 36. And this is all going to be divided by 2a, or 2 times 1. We want to simplify the radicand and the denominator. So x is going to be equal to negative 5 plus or minus the square root. Let's see, that's 25 plus 144, that's 169, divided by 2. Again, 5 squared is 25. Negative 4 times 1 times negative 36, that's a positive product, 144. And that does add to be 169. The square root of 169 is 13. So I have x equals negative 5 plus or minus 13 divided by 2. And now we can simplify that. Negative 5 plus 13 divided by 2 is 8 divided by 2. for 4. And to find the second solution, that's x equals negative 5 minus 13 divided by 2, negative 18 divided by 2, that is negative 9. So our solution set is negative 9 and 4. Now, I didn't check this right away, but it's a good idea to have done this. This expression is factorable. And I'm going to show you on the next screen that we could have solved it a lot quicker if we had seen that it factored. X squared plus 5x minus 36 factors to be x plus 9 times x minus 4. Now we can break this up and set each factor equal to 0. Subtract 9, our first solution is negative 9. Set the second factor equal to 0, add 4 to both sides, x equals 4, and we immediately have our solution. So if it factors, you should do that. Let's try another one. X squared plus 6x minus 20. This expression does not factor. So I'm going to use the quadratic formula with a equals 1, b equals 6, and c equals negative 20. X equals, the opposite of b is negative 6, plus or minus the square root of b squared, 6 squared, minus 4 times the value for a, which is 1, times the value for c, which is negative 20. And that's all going to be divided by 2a, which is 2 times 1. Let's simplify the radicand, negative 6 plus or minus, and I'll do this in 2 steps this time. 6 squared is 36. This works out to be plus 80, all divided by 2. So we have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 116 divided by 2. And if we simplify this radical, 116 is the same as 4 times 29, so I can take a 2 out of there. Negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root 29 divided by 2. I can divide a common factor of 2 out of negative 6, positive 2, and positive 2. And I'm left with a solution set of negative 3 plus or minus square root 29. So negative 3 plus the square root of 29 and negative 3 minus the square root of 29. Now for this one, I wanted to show you that we could have solved it by completing the square as well. And compared to this, that may have been a little easier. Recall, for completing the square, we want to move the constant away from the variable terms. X squared plus 6x equals 20. I'm going to take the coefficient b, 6, divide it in half, and square it. Half of 6 is 3, and 3 squared is 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. The left side factors to be the perfect square, x plus 3, quantity squared, equals 29. Take the square root of both sides. The left side simply becomes x plus 3. The right side, I cannot simplify the square root of 29 any further. I'll subtract the 3 over, and I'm left with x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 29. Same solution set. But the difference here is that I didn't have to do the same level of arithmetic that I did when I used the quadratic formula. So if the first coefficient, a, is 1, and the second coefficient, b, is even, completing the square can prove to be an easier task. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have a request for a video I can put on YouTube, you can reach me through the contact page on my website, georgewoodbury.com. Thanks and good luck.